Modern economic growth presents a specific contradiction. Every day, a new generation enters the economy only to find that the foundational assets required to build a secure life are already claimed. Desirable land is spoken for. Housing requires significant capital. Corporate equities, digital platforms, and the specialized infrastructure powering artificial intelligence are increasingly held by a shrinking group of investors. Most people earn their living through wages, yet long-term wealth grows through compounding asset values. This creates a widening gap for those who start without productive assets. This creates a cycle of dependency. Without a clear path to property or capital, younger populations are forced to pay for access to basic stability from those who already own it. Economic friction is often attributed to population growth and the resulting competition for limited resources. United Nations data suggests a different driver. Global population is projected to peak at roughly 10.3 billion in the 2080s, before beginning a gradual decline, with many nations already seeing shrinking birth rates. Economies are capable of creating new value and increasing abundance. The current scarcity is concentrated in the specific foundations of economic independence, such as housing and financial capital. This trend points towards an access squeeze, a system where ownership becomes concentrated while everyone else pays for the right to participate in ordinary life. Measuring the severity of this squeeze requires looking at the current distribution of wealth and productive capital. This chart shows the distribution of global personal wealth. The top 10% of humanity owns approximately 75% of all wealth, while the bottom half controls roughly 2%. In the United States, the concentration of productive assets is even more pronounced. Federal Reserve data from early 2026 shows a stark divide in market participation. This graph tracks the ownership of U.S. corporate equities and mutual funds. The top 10% hold 87% of these assets, while the bottom 50% hold roughly 1%. This financial divide mirrors a shift in housing. OECD data shows that homeownership for people in their 30s declined in 17 of 24 developed nations studied over the last 3 decades. The OECD now estimates that over a quarter of market income inequality is attributed to inherited circumstances. As asset values outpace wages, the starting point of an individual's life becomes a primary determinant of their economic security. Idris Enayat uses a 5-stage framework to map the trajectory of modern economies based on how accessible ownership remains for the average citizen. This graphic highlights the progression. Stage 1 represents expanding opportunity, where new households easily acquire assets. In Stage 2, concentration grows as asset values begin to compound faster than wages. Stage 3 is the access squeeze. Here, home ownership and business creation become difficult without family wealth or significant debt. Enayat places the United States in this stage today. The final stages lead to a permanent owner-renter divide. This eventually triggers a legitimacy crisis, where the public no longer believes the system offers a credible path to independence. This outcome is not a certainty. Technology can lower the cost of essentials, and policy can be used to broaden access to the markets. While the system hasn't reached a breaking point, the shift toward a rent-based economy is accelerating just as we enter a new era of automation. Artificial intelligence introduces a new variable to this ownership model. It requires concentrated capital to build, but offers the potential for massive productivity gains. Training advanced models requires enormous physical investments in specialized computing chips and global data centers. These systems require a corresponding expansion of the power grid to meet staggering energy demands. An IMF analysis warns that these high infrastructure costs could further consolidate market power among a few major providers, allowing capital owners to capture a disproportionate share of the gains. The high cost of entry makes AI a tool that can either broaden the path to wealth or permanently lock in the advantage of those who already own the means of production. The International Labor Organization presents a scenario where workers use AI to increase their own productivity, leading to higher wages and improved living standards for the majority. In a more concentrated future, a small group owns the automated infrastructure, leaving everyone else to rely on subscriptions for work, transportation, and healthcare. Avoiding that outcome requires specific interventions, building housing to meet demand, expanding employee profit sharing, and ensuring that AI models allow communities to share in the value of automation. The economic legacy of the AI era will be defined by ownership. The central challenge is ensuring that ordinary people own a meaningful share of the systems that create our future wealth.